Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Transformers Legends LGEX Convobat. Basically this is a repaint slash retool of the Mind Wipe mold made to look like the Bat version of Optimus Primal. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, at the very beginning of the Beast Wars toy line, before the cartoon was announced and they started making the characters based on the show, there was a 2-pack of, I don't want to say deluxe because I feel like they weren't that big. I guess basic figures back in the day when they were like $5 a piece. There was a 2-pack of basic figures. One was a gray and blue bat that transformed into Optimus Primal. And then there was an alligator that was kind of green and brown color scheme that transformed into Megatron. And it was a 2-pack that came with a little comic and everything. And it was kind of the original fiction for Beast Wars before they decided to move forward with the cartoon. And then they started to remake Optimus Primal and Megatron into the monkey and T-Rex we know and love. So I thought this was a really cool homage. Definitely, back in the day, this was something that didn't get a lot of attention, the Bat version of Optimus Primal. And it's an eHobby exclusive, as you can see here. The reason I'm just reviewing this now is I just got this now. This was a really expensive figure for a very long time. It was somewhere in the area of $70 to $80. And to me, it's a $10 to $15 deluxe with, I think, an extra headmaster and transtector. So that's like an extra $5. So you're looking at about $20 worth of toys for $70 to $80, which to me was just kind of like, that's a lot. I know they have nicer paint apps and everything, but it's just I couldn't justify it. But it was on clearance recently, probably about a month or so ago at this point, on HobbyLink Japan for somewhere in the area of $40, and I felt like I could definitely substantiate, make an argument for that price because there are a lot nicer paint apps and it's an exclusive, so that does give a little bit more value to it. But I'm very excited. I'm very happy to finally get a hold of this. As you can see, beautiful artwork here on the front of the package. Taking a look at the side, you can see the headmaster, and you can see the extra like body armor piece. I just know over here the Titan Master class was like the little vehicle body piece with an extra headmaster, and that was about $5 over here. So you're getting this little, I call it a transtector basically because it's kind of like a substitute for a full body for some of these headmasters. And then here is the Bat version over here. And then on this side, again, you have that nice artwork. Not too much going on the bottom. And then here is the second headmaster you get. You get the alligator version of Megatron, which is pretty fantastic. So looking at here on the back, you have the robot mode, you have the Bat mode, you have the little extra weapon piece. So very, very cool. I'm very excited to get this open, so let's go ahead and do so we can take a closer look. Here is everything that comes included in this box. This is how he's packaged, and I think it's kind of neat because it's almost like a bat, wrapping itself in its wings when it hangs itself upside down. So I think that's kind of cool. All you have to do is fold the wings out on the double joints. And that is the full Bat version. And you can kind of flex the wings and play with them a little bit as you like. But that is the Bat version of Convobat. He comes with these 2 blades, which, if I'm not mistaken, these are the swords from Transformers Prime Wheeljack. I believe that is what they are from. Now, the reason they're included is the original toy had 2 blades very similar to this that used to hang in his wings like this. Now, you can't quite do it, but you can peg these in like this and kind of get the same effect. It's not perfect, but you can kind of get the same effect of how they used to be hidden in his wings. They were flat and, they were turned 90 degrees and flat into the wing in the original toy. But that can kind of give you the same effect. Not perfect, but at least there's some storage for the weapons in this mode. There's really nothing else. Actually, I guess, and this could work, you could kind of store them in the fists back here. Something like that. Obviously, it comes down a little bit too far, so that's kind of a bummer. But it's kind of an option. I'm just going to take them off and put them off to the side for now so we can take a look at him. And then, of course, we have the little vehicle. Now, this is if you're familiar with the line of Legends / Titans Return. This was Apeface, the Headmaster Apeface, and they've repainted it here to look like Optimal Optimus. So this is the jet mode. Then you can turn this back like this, and then this is Optimal Optimus's monkey mode. And then he also has a quote-unquote gun mode if you just flip the arms forward and then fold out this little handle. So it's not bad. I mean, it's as good as the Apeface toy was because it's literally the same. And I think they did an excellent job repainting it as Optimal Optimus. So it's just a fun little extra. I like it. I think it's kind of fun. But we'll put that off to the side for a moment and take a look at our two Headmasters here. So here is Convobat, Optimus Primal. Really nice. You can see the yellow paint for the eyes and the silver for the face mask. A little bit of red here on the arms. And then gray here in the legs. And then when you transform him, really great head sculpt there. I mean, that's really perfect. Really nicely done with that. And then here we have the Megatron, which this, I'm not sure if the Optimus one is brand new or if it's a tweaked version of an existing Optimus head. But this one is absolutely the Megatron type head that came with Galvatron, but painted to look like the alligator Megatron. And it's perfect. It works perfectly. It fits perfectly. That is a beautiful paint job on that face. Really, really neat there. I like that a lot. That's really cool. I like how his feet, his like toes are painted differently. That's a really nice touch. So yeah, really enjoying both of these Headmasters. Really quite fantastic. But I'm going to put all these accessories off to the side so that we can take a closer look at the Bat. And again, I think the head sculpt looks great. I mean, of course it's the same Bat as Mind Wipe, but you have the mouth can open and close, which is a nice touch. You can see the teeth are painted. There's a little bit of a tongue painted in there as well. Nice yellow paint for the eyes. That's really well done. And then just the shades of gray. You have this kind of gunmetal gray color, the lighter gray color, and the blue. You can open this and put the Headmaster inside. You have these smaller wings on the back, which really serve no purpose other than to look cool in robot mode, but they came a little bent from the packaging, which is kind of a bummer, but you could fix that if you wanted to. In this mode, he doesn't really have a ton of articulation. Obviously, like I showed you, he's got the 2 joints, actually 3 joints in the wings, so you can have some fun flapping the wings with that. The mouth does open and close, but really that's about it. The legs don't move because the back of the wings are pegged into them. So you have the joints in the wings and the mouth. Pretty much it for transformation in Bat mode. But let's go ahead, I'm sorry, articulation in Bat mode. Let's go ahead and get to the transformation. Alright, so if you're familiar with the Mind Wipe mold, it transforms exactly the same. Nothing too special there. You can start by unpegging the wings. You can see that they kind of peg into what will eventually become the fists. But you just lift this, and you can see there's a little tab, this tab right here, which just pegs into that spot there. So you just gently lift that out. And then you're going to close the mouth, bring the head of the Bat down, and you can see this blue tab right there where my finger is, and that's going to peg into this little spot here on the canopy. So you just peg that in and just kind of collapse the head down. Then you're going to fold down these sections, which will be the feet, and then it's kind of a collapse the wings up situation. So because you have all those joints, you're going to bring this down, fold these joints in on themselves, and you can see there's a tiny tab on the outside of the wing, and that's going to tab into that spot right there. So you're going to bring these all in and then tab that in. I mean, it's very loose because that last extension is kind of a soft plastic, so you have to be a little careful with it. But you just collapse this all down like this and tab it in. And that's how you get your legs. And then at this point, you're going to spin them around like this. And you can see that's kind of the base of the robot mode. Most of the robot mode is taking shape at this point. Now, these little wings that I talked about earlier, there's a little piece right here. They're going to spin around on that piece, and they'll stop. You can see there's little, and I apologize, it's hard to get light in there. Let me move when I move the leg, but there's a little tab right there, and that's just, there's one on each side. It lets you know how to stop, or when to stop, I should say. So, I apologize, let me angle this correctly. So you can see there's a tab right there and a tab right there. So when you spin this around, the tab just, it clicks into place. It's nice. So at this point, you're going to fold up these arms. They will just fold straight up like that. Do the same thing on both sides. Then you're going to want to spin it here at what will be its bicep swivel. So spin that 180. And be a little careful, for some reason on mine, you kind of have to slide it back on when it does that for some reason. And then you just bring the arms down. And then fold out the fists from the forearms. And there you go. There is your body. And then you just kind of find a pose you like. Now, like I said, with my wings, I like to kind of have them out like this. Maybe a little bit of a 45-degree angle, not quite 45 degrees. But like I said, it's a shame that mine got bent, because they really are a soft plastic. And I think it's because they're thin, otherwise they would be like shards and they could stab you. That's why they had to make them soft plastic. And unfortunately, the heels are not the best. So he has a little bit of difficulty finding a good pose to stand. But you just have to kind of balance. Well, actually, I guess the back part of the wings will help him balance a little bit. Then you take your head, you transform, head on, and there you go. Convobat. I think he looks fantastic. That head sculpt looks great. I love this guy. He looks fantastic. I really love the color scheme. The color scheme works even better in robot mode because you have the light gray with the red and the blue and a little pop of yellow here on the chest and the eyes. Absolutely perfect. Take your two weapons. Go ahead and slide them into his fists. He looks awesome dual wielding those two swords. Another option you have, you can take the peg that's on the side and peg that into the forearm here, which is kind of a neat look. And also, of course, you can take that gun mode we talked about earlier and pop that into his hand. So this guy is exceptional. I really think this is a fantastic repaint. I'm really excited I was finally able to get a hold of it for what I consider to be a reasonable price. I mean, $70, $80 is kind of ridiculous. I know it's a nice repaint, and, you know, it's a fun homage to a toy that doesn't really get a lot of attention anymore, but that was just a lot. But for half that price, around $40, yes, it's still a little bit, considering you're getting about $20 worth of toys, but I still think it's very, very cool. Now, the other thing you can do, you have your your Megatron, and Megatron had a crocodile alt mode. So if we bring in a certain crocodile headmaster body, and we transform our Megatron, that looks really good. The green of his head is exactly the green of this toy. I'm pretty sure that they were meant to have you swap out these heads because this looks great. Now, unfortunately, the toy still has super floppy hips, but that is not Megatron's fault. That is Skullcruncher's fault. But he looks great. I mean, that looks really cool. I almost kind of wish they would repaint Skullcruncher in all like light gray and this emerald, not emerald, forest green color, so that you could take the pink parts out, because obviously Megatron doesn't have any pink parts. See if we can find a pose. There we go. So these two look amazing together. I am really, really happy. This will make a great display. I'm super psyched about this. This looks really, really cool. I'm so glad they included the little Megatron headmaster. It's such a nice little touch. Totally compatible with the figure you may already have. So this is a great set. I'm really happy here. I wanted to take a look at articulation quick before we wrap up. Now again, if you're familiar with Mind Wipe, it's going to be the same articulation, but you have a little bit of play here in the ankle, and that's mostly just from the transformation. You have a thigh swivel there. You have an out to the side and front to back at the hip. You do have a waist swivel. You have kind of two sections for the shoulder here. You have a joint here where the screw is, and then you have the actual ball joint in the shoulder, and then of course you can move it up or down by that screw. Then of course you have the bicep swivel as part of the transformation. You actually have two joints in the elbow, and then you don't have any wrist swivel because of the transformation, and then the ball joint in the head. So great articulation. Like I said, pretty much everything that Mind Wipe already has, but it's a great amount of articulation. And he doesn't have a ton of kibble. He just really has the bat head on the back. The wings look great in this mode. They're meant to, be displayed here to, make it look like he can fly. Just have those wings on the back that look fantastic. So I'm happy with this guy. Really, really can't recommend him enough. But there's one more thing we need to check out before we're done. So as you know, Takara is famous for their instructions and their comics. So if we open this guy up, he does have an EX labeled comic. Now I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what's going on here. The monkey from the little bonus Optimus Primal, or Optimal Optimus, is kind of hanging out. He's got a necktie for some reason. And then here is the Megatron Headmaster up to something. And then he tries to take over the Optimal Optimus Jet Gun mode. And that kind of doesn't work. And then the bat transforms. And I'm still not quite sure what's happening. But it looks like a super fun, goofy comic. I love these comics from Takara. They always do such a great job. And then when you open it up, of course, that's the transformation instructions inside. But the cool thing about this release was, and I don't know if this is with all of them, or if it was just Hobby Link, or however that's worked out, but it actually came with a full-size comic as well, which is really cool. So if we open this up just to kind of take a look real quick, it shows off the bat, and then again, the comic does show Megatron using Skullcruncher's Transtector here, so you can see that they transform, and they start fighting each other in the swamp, which is pretty cool. And then you get an appearance by Cerberus from the Robots in Disguise toy line. Does anyone remember this toy? During the original 2001, I want to say, Transformers Robots in Disguise line, the Car Robots line that came over to America as Robots in Disguise, there was I guess it was a Beast Machines mold that never quite saw the light of day, or maybe it did, but in very limited release, so they repainted it as Cerberus, this three-headed dog, and it was such a universally hated alt mode and robot mode, it just looked terrible that nobody bought it, and because of that, it's incredibly rare now. So now that people are going back and looking for it, it's so hard to find because nobody bought it, because at the time everyone thought it was kind of terrible. So he shows up and starts fighting both of them. And as you can see, the nice thing is it's printed obviously in Japanese, but it has English underneath each bubble as well, so you can actually read it. I still really had no idea what was going on. It's basically just all three of them are fighting each other. But very, very cool. I thought it was a very neat comic. Very nice artwork. And the surprise appearance by Cerberus, I just thought was really quite amazing. And I can't believe that that happened. And then there's something going on down in here that says it's going to be continued in Magna Convoy. And I don't know what that one is. So I appreciate the inclusion of the extra comic in addition to the normal goofy Takara comic. that we always get. And then here we have the tech specs and all the good stuff, pictures of the toy there. So very, very fun. Really glad these were both included here. I think this is a fantastic set. I'm really glad the price came down because I'm sorry that original $70 to $80 price tag was kind of ridiculous in my opinion. But when it came down to about $40, $45, it's still a lot, but it's definitely more in my wheelhouse, and I'm glad I was able to finally get a hold of this figure because it's really fun. I had the original Bat version of Optimus Primal as a kid, and I loved that toy. So when this homage came around, I really wanted it because it's just so much fun. It's a beautiful, beautiful repaint of that mold. I don't remember particularly loving the Mind Wipe mold. I thought it was okay, but what they've done with it here, and they haven't really done much to it, just the repaint and the new head, but it kind of accentuates the mold to me and really draws out all its little quirks, and it kind of makes me appreciate it all over again, and I think that's really fun. I love the little Optimal Optimus repaint of Ape Face. I think it was Ape Face, right? Yeah. The little Megatron repaint is also fantastic and integrates perfectly with the body of Skullcruncher, so if you want to repurpose that body for that, it works great. The comics included are a lot of fun. Just all over, this set is a lot of fun. It's a lot of nostalgia fun for me. Just, you know, it's a great toy all around, so I was really excited to finally get a hold of this. If you have the means to pick this up for cheap, or for cheaper than normal retail, I would definitely recommend it. I probably still wouldn't pay full retail for it just because I do think that's a lot. When you figure it's a $15 deluxe with about an extra $5 Titan Master set, even with the comic and the extra stuff, you're still only up to like $25, $30. You know, I know there's nice paint apps, but I still think $80 is way too much. But if you can get it for the half price or you see it on clearance somewhere, I definitely recommend it because it's a really nice set. And it's a great, great repaint of a really fun toy from my childhood. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear your opinions. Let me know what you think. Please like and share the video, and please subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at Transformers Legends LGEX Convobat. It's a weird name, but it's Convoy and Bat because Optimus is always called Convoy, so he's Convobat. Whatever. It's a great toy. I highly recommend it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.